Welcome back to He's House, where we do a little bit of everything all the time, and it usually turns out right. Today, I'm going to make some pita, because Liz has a 12-hour shift, and I'm going to make her some Greek food for when she gets home. Starting out, we're going to use 2 cups of lukewarm water, 4 tablespoons of yeast, 4 teaspoons of yeast. Almost forgot. I'm going to use a teaspoon of sugar as well in here. And then I'm going to whisk this up and add some flour to it as well. So I'm going to get this stirred in. And I'm going to add a cup of flour. So in total, we're going to have 4 more cups into the dough. And then we have a cup to dust it with and incorporate it with later. But for now, I'm going to add a cup in here. And then I'm going to let this sit for about 15 minutes. And it should start to bubble. And this yeast should just get really activated. I want some nice bubbles in my pita tonight. All right, now I'm gonna let this sit for 15 minutes and we'll check back in. All right, here you go. So that is the yeast flour mixture. It is bubbling up. It's ready to go. So I'm gonna give this a little stir. Oh yeah. This should be able to get some good bubbles in the pita bread right now. Nice crispy spots. Big, huge, flat, soft spots. So I'm going to put, there's 1 cup of flour in here right now. I'm going to put 4 more cups of flour in as well. And then I'm going to put about a tablespoon of salt. And then this is going to be very sticky dough. So I'm going to put a glove on just to get this started. I also need some olive oil. I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of olive oil in. There we go. This is going to be very wet at first. It'll get less sticky as the process goes along. And like I said, we have another cup of flour that we'll incorporate with it or dust it to get it going. And this, you really just got to see how it goes. Different temperatures, different humidity outside. It's going to act differently. I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil. Another tablespoon. So that's 3 tablespoons in total right now. And then when I let it rise, I'm going to pour a little bit of olive oil on top. Well, I'm going to have to get both my hands dirty, I think. There we go. All right. That's incorporated enough for now. I'm going to let this sit for about 15 minutes, and then I'm going to come back and finish it up. First, I don't want to waste anything. This is much easier off a glove than it is off your hand. All right, that's good. I'm going to let this sit for 15 minutes. I'm going to put a wet towel over top just to keep the moisture in. And then I'm going to knead it again. And then we're going to let it sit for about an hour. All right, well, I've been doing a lot on this counter. So I went ahead and scrubbed it pretty well because I'm getting ready to roll the dough out on it. So now I just want to knead this for like 5 minutes or so, just to make sure everything is incorporated correctly. It is nice and soft and sticky. We don't want it to be too dry. If it's too dry, it might not get those big bubbles we're looking for. Coming for some avocado. All right, we got a nice ball. It's quite sticky. Doesn't stick to these gloves very well, but if I didn't have gloves on, this would be sticking to my fingers. You don't need oil in the bottom of these. The dough doesn't really stick to this, but I want to keep this dough nice and sticky. So I'm going to put it in here. I mean, look at that. I'm going to dimple this before I make the pita. It's going to be delicious. All right, and I'm going to put some some olive oil on top of it. All right, now I'm going to put a wet rag on top of it again, and I'll just use the one from before. And we're going to let this sit for about an hour. And if I timed it right, that should be perfect for Liz getting home from work and when it's time for dinner. And then we'll make these fresh, fry them up, have it with that chicken, have it with a tzatziki sauce, and it's going to be a great dinner. So I'll see y'all in a little bit. All right, well, we're ready to start rolling out some pita. That's the laundry room. And this, I'm going to get you a close-up here. That is looking delightful, as my number 5 would say. Oh, that's about as fluffy as it gets right there. So we're just going to cut this up. If you wanted to, you could measure it. This should make like 12. I'm not going to measure it because I don't think anybody in my family cares if they get an extra gram. So I'm just going to roll them into little balls. Sprinkle some more flour up top here. These should be good. I'm going to poke them and make them. Yeah, these should be good. First, I'm going to get the pan on too. Got to get that heated up. Normally, I'd cook these in my cast iron, but since there's a thunderstorm tonight, I had to cook my chicken in my big cast iron. I'm using my other pan, but this is a nice thick one as well, so it keeps the heat pretty consistent once you get it where you need it to be. So I'm just making balls out of these, and once I get them all in the balls, I'm going to start rolling them up, rolling them out. And like I said, this should make 12 pitas, and they should be pretty decent size for a sandwich. If you want bigger ones, well, you can make bigger ones. My number 3 son, Liam, he would probably just eat this. You just put it on a cookie sheet, bake it. He'd just eat the whole thing. Swear to God, that kid. He can eat some carbs. Man, wish you could feel this dough right now. It is some soft dough. This is going to be a big one right here. This is probably going to be my sandwich. Bodie is not really a fan of chicken. Whenever I do beef, he gets a lot of trimmings, and he loves the trimmings. But today, he's not really getting any. So now you want to roll this out. If you did this by hand and just stretched it, you get more bubbles. But we're going to let these sit for about 10 minutes once I get them rolled out. And that might help with the bubbles. But I've got to make a lot of pitas in the next little bit, so I'm going to get these going. So yeah, if you do this, you're going to get more of those air pockets and bubbles that give you like crispy parts of the pita and soft parts of the pita. So we'll see which one looks better. And these are kind of bouncing back when I push them out. Do you see that? If you let this sit for about 10 more minutes and then do this again, it probably won't shrink back in. Which is actually probably about the time all these will be rolled out. So I might stretch them one more time right before I throw them in the pan. I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit. All right, now I just got to do this like 10 more times. All right, we're on the last one. All right, so now just gonna let these sit for a little bit. Once I get these laid out, I'm gonna poke my fingers into them. All right, now I'm just gonna poke these with my fingers. You can use a fork too if you want, but I'm gonna let these sit for about 10 minutes. Some of them are thick, and some of them, like this one here, is pretty thin. All right. We're going to come back in 10 minutes and start frying these up. I'll see you in a bit. All right, well, this is the hand-rolled one, hand-pressed one, whatever. It's not as pretty, but we're going to see hand-rolled versus rolling pin. Made one as a snack. This is a rolling pin one, too. I just had to test out to see if my pan was hot enough yet. It is. Woo! All right, so we're going to go with this one. And let it sit. This should take a few minutes, so I'll check back in once I flip it. This smells good. She's upstairs. So I pickled these onions earlier. They're not going to be fully pickled by the time I make my sandwich, but they should still have some pretty good flavor. Needs a little bit more. Yeah, needs a little bit more. This is a Tzatziki I made earlier. Since this is the practice one, I might as well see if it turned out all right. Good texture on the tzatziki. Oh yeah. This is pretty good. You guys are going to enjoy this. Oh yeah, that's looking perfect right there. Let's get the rest of these fried up. And then we're going to make some sandwiches. In the meantime, I'm going to finish this off. You know what? Probably good with a piece of chicken. Great with chicken. So, side-by-side comparison. That's the hand one. That's the, that just came off. That's the rolled out one. So, I don't know. They both taste just as good.
Dad, I got another piece.
You got to save some for dinner, kiddo.
Look, I'm hungry.
I know, but you're gonna eat. Here, hold on. Let me see your pita. All right, try it like that. We're not gonna have any chicken by the time dinner gets here. How's that? Pretty good? All right, so this is the pita. It turned out absolutely delicious. I like the hand-rolled ones. I mean, the ones rolled with the pin versus the hand-rolled ones. The hand-rolled one kind of got a little lumpy and stuff. But either way, I think 4 of these were gone before we even started dinner. So they were great. Try these out. They're very easy to make, and they're very good. Thanks for stopping into Heath's house, where the food's always fresh, the back deck's always open, and the pita is very soft and wonderful. I'll see y'all around. Bye now.